So well done for all your work yesterday. Decimals, I hope, won't prove as scary as I think some of you really thought they were. And just keep drawing place value charts, because that will really help. So today, I know I said we were done with fractions, but decimals and fractions do link together. So there will be a little bit of an overlap over the next few days. So what you're going to be faced with today is we are looking at understanding decimals as fractions. Okay? I think it's easier if I kneel down, isn't it? Okay, so understanding decimals as fractions. So you're going to have 100 square, okay? Mine isn't perfect, but there are 100 squares. And you'll have so many coloured in. So here I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 coloured in. And what that means is I have got 7 out of 100. Okay, there are 7 out of 100 coloured in. And what I want you to remember is that your little line there can mean out of. Okay, if you think of your half, you have 1 out of 2 parts. This is saying you have 7 out of 100 parts. Okay, and then you'll be asked to think, what would that be as a decimal? Now please don't be scared by that. Okay, you have 7 out of 100, and from your place value charts that you were doing yesterday, you had your ones in here, your decimal place, and then your tenths, and then your hundredths. So if you've got 7 hundredths, your 7 has to be over here, and you have a 0.0 there. So as a decimal, you would have 0.07. So 7 out of 100 is 7 hundredths. So that goes over to there. Okay, we'll do another one. So now, I don't know where my purple pen has gone. If I colour in a few more, so we have 10, 11, 12 now. So now we have 12. So we now have 12 out of 100. Okay? So I'm not worried at the minute that we're going to try and simplify this. What I want us to think about is how this converts into a decimal. So now we have 12 over 100. So we have 12 now, we have a 10 here now. So we now have 1 10 and we have 2 hundredths. Okay, so this, thinking about our decimals, if I change colour, one 0.00, 1 equals a whole. Okay, so as soon as you have 1 in the ones column, that is a whole. Okay, these are your tenths and these are your hundredths. So you will never, if you just have a fraction, you're not going to have anything in your ones column, because to have something in your ones column, you have to have a whole. Okay, your fraction is out of 100 and you put it over here. So let's do one more. So what about if you had 25? Okay, so now we have 25 out of 100. Okay, so we have 25 out of 100. Now you might know that that is a quarter, and that is fine. That's brilliant if you know that that is a quarter. But to turn it into a decimal, it's helpful if you remember this part, because you have 2 tenths and 5 hundredths here. Okay, because it's out of 100, so you're talking in out of 100, which takes you to here. So your 25 basically goes here, it goes in exactly the same order. So while knowing this is absolutely amazing, you also need to know that that is the same as 25 out of 100, so that you remember this decimal. It's 0.25. Okay, so that's a lot of the questions you're going to get. I made a note on the whiteboard. Also, I don't know where my magic rubber's gone, so luckily I've got a black jumper on. So other sort of things you will get today are things like asking you about if you had 3 counters. Oh, where's pen? You had 3 counters which each had 1/100th in them. So that means you would have 3 out of 100, 3/100ths. And if you think about your place value chart again, if you're writing that as a decimal, well, you've got a 0 because you've got no whole numbers. You've got no tens, so there's no tenths here. So your next number is 100th because you only have 3 out of 100. So that would make it 0.03. Okay. So that means that is the same thing. The final thing that you'll be asked to look at today is comparing. Okay. So we're going to compare a few numbers. So 0.03 and 3/10, 0.7 and 7/100, and 0.2 and 2/10. Okay, so if we're looking at these two, we now need to either convert them to the same thing, so both being fractions or both being decimals, and that'll make it so much easier for us to compare them. I'll change to red. So now hopefully you will recognise that this number is in the hundredths column. Now this is saying it's 3/10, so that's 3/10 in this column. So if we turn this one into a fraction, we would have 3/100. So that shows that 3/10 is bigger than 3/100. Or you could also convert this one to a decimal. And because this is 3/10, you'd have 0.3. That would be the same equivalent as 30/100, 3/10. Okay, we'll do these other two and then we'll see how we get on today. We're doing the same thing again tomorrow, so don't worry if you find it a bit tricky, okay? So 0.7, now this is in the tenths column here, so that means it has to be either 7 out of 10 or 70 out of 100. So that makes it 7 out of 10 because we're talking about tenths, yeah? Or it could be 70/100ths. But for the moment, we'll keep it nice and simple. And remember, this is in the tenths column, so we have 7/10. So if we have 7/10 here, here we have 7 out of 100. So if we have 7/100ths, that means that it is in the hundredths column. Okay, there's nothing in the tenths column because we don't have any tens here. So because that is 7/100ths and that is 7/10, the tenths are bigger than the hundredths. They are closer to the decimal point, which means they are bigger. And these two, 0.2, well this again is in the tenths column, and so that makes it 2/10. And this one is 2/10, so we need to remember that is 0.2 in the tenths column, so they are exactly the same. Now I know that that might seem like a lot of words, and I'm sorry if it does. Have a look at, I don't think there aren't any slides today either, so do your best. Miss Bell and I are both online today. Just remember your place value. Remember where your tenths are, remember where your hundredths are. If this is out of 100, then you will have hundredths. Okay? If it was 70, you would have 7/10s. So it still says 70 there. Hopefully that's okay. Any problems, just let me know. We have Zoom this afternoon, so just let me know if any problems. Bye.